Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Ways of the Sith. Thank you so much for taking time to check out the channel. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Ways of the Sith. So today is the start of one of my favorite times of the year, Star Wars Celebration. And boy, oh boy, was it a packed day one. So the festivities and the coverage of everything started super early this morning. I had it going while I was at work and just was listening to it through headphones and checking the screen when I could. But I saw a lot of stuff. Luckily, a couple people were live streaming panels, so I got to see some of the stuff that was revealed. People also shared some of the trailers and stuff. I'm not going to show any of the footage, but I compiled a lot of pictures and stills from the trailers that were shown and some different stuff. So we'll definitely go over everything because there's tons of stuff in this video. We got new movie announcements, we got development on TV shows, and of course, we got some new figure reveals. Now tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be the Star Wars Hasbro panel, so we'll get to see tons more stuff. I'll do a separate video going over everything and probably re-include the reveals that I'm going to show in this video. But we'll definitely cover everything this weekend and go over all of the Star Wars news. So let's get into it. And this first bit of information is going to be controversial to some people. So I figured, let me just get this out the way. We'll get it over with to start the video, and then we can move on to everything else. But I'm just going to play this clip, and then we'll get into the news. So yes, that was Daisy Ridley walking out in front of the crowd at Star Wars Celebration for the first of 3 movies announced. So we're getting 3 Star Wars movies. I know people are skeptical, but it seems like all 3 of these movies are absolutely locked in going forward. So this movie is going to take place 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, and it will cover Rey and her new Jedi Order. So they did announce this. This is happening. I know a lot of people wanted these movies to be gotten rid of with Ahsoka or whatever the case may be, but they're not going anywhere. Disney invested way too much money into their theme parks and into their hotel. They're going to move forward with the sequel characters, at least Rey. We have no idea if any of the other characters are returning. All that we know is she will be returning to lead a new Jedi Order and defend it from whatever the threat may be in this time. So additionally to that movie, it was also announced that James Mangold, who directed Logan and is currently working on the Indiana Jones movie, is going to direct a movie set 25,000 years before the first original films. So it should be pretty cool. It's going to go over the Old Republic. So keep your fingers crossed that we get Revan and we get some of the characters that we love and adore. Supposedly it's going to deal with a lot of the first Force users. So this might be like really early Old Republic, even before Revan and them, which will be really cool. You know, the Jedi, as people have read from legends and canon, maybe that's what he's going to do. It's going to be very interesting to see. He's got a great track record. He's a great director. I really have high hopes with that movie. Just the sound of it and the fact that we're going to cover these eras really is interesting to me. And then the other movie that was announced, finally, Dave Filoni getting his first Star Wars feature film, and it's going to be a culmination of the Mandoverse. So Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew, Mandalorian, all coming together for one big culmination. More than likely, either the Battle of Jakku or the Grisk War. One way or another, both those things are going to happen in the timeline. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they actually end up doing. They also gave us this new timeline now for Star Wars, where we have all of the errors and the errors that the shows and movies are going to span now going forward. So we have the whole Old Republic, the High Republic, the Fall of the Jedi, the Rise of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, the New Republic and the First Order, and then there's also a Jedi Order that is after that. My guess is that logo, the Jedi Order one, that's not in this picture, which I apologize. That's probably going to be the Rey movie and that timeline. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Very open possibility that we see a grown-up version of Grogu in that movie. I know people are dreading it, but unfortunately, that's what's going to happen going forward. So one way or another, that movie is going to happen. Next up, let's talk about the Disney Plus shows. So we got a look at the trailer for Skeleton Crew. It did leak online. It is out there. I'm not going to show it in this video because I don't want it to get taken down. But I can say that I'm not very intrigued about this. This is probably the least interesting thing to me. Maybe once like we get to actually see more of it, it'll get me intrigued. I really don't know much about the storyline. We saw a bunch of kids, and we saw Vane, the pirate that escaped in Mandalorian. He's going to be the pirate that carries over, not the Pirate King like everybody kept saying the rumor was. So we will see Vane again. He'll be involved in Skeleton Crew. I did see something thrown around that Jude Law might be a Jedi in this show. I'm not exactly sure. But we did get a look at the directors of all the episodes. So we got John Watts, David Lowery, The Daniels, Jake Schreiber, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Lee Isaac Chung. They will be directing all of the episodes for Skeleton Crew, and now we know that all of these shows will culminate into whatever Filoni's movie is going to be. So stay tuned for more info on this. I believe they said 2024 for Skeleton Crew, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll definitely get an actual trailer and a lot more information as time goes on. Next up, we'll talk about my favorite show, Andor. Those that aren't familiar, I really wasn't the biggest fan of Andor. This just wasn't my type of Star Wars, which is fine. I did, though, watch the entire panel today of them speaking about Andor and Lord Gilroy going over his modesty of how great his writing is. But we do have a lot more information on season 2 of Andor, and it was finally officially confirmed by Tony Gilroy that the season is broken up into 3 episode arcs. So basically, each 3 episodes will be a year's jump in the timeline. And when we end the show, we're literally going to walk it right in the beginning of Rogue One. So when it's all said and done, you'll be able to watch the 2 episodes of Andor and literally flip over to Rogue One like you never skipped a beat. So that's a very interesting concept. I'm hoping because we're doing that this season will be a lot more faster paced and not as dragged out as the first season was. But it seems like we're going to see a lot of character growth. The actress that plays Bix says we're going to see a whole different version of Bix in this show, which I'm excited for because she kind of got relegated to just being a background character. It seemed like she was going to be somebody more important. Luthen, we'll find out the fate of him and what happens. It's going to be interesting. And the other little bit of news that they kind of let slip is that Kino Loy, Andy Serkis, is most likely coming back for season 2. He was seen on set. He might be directing an episode again like he did last season. But he did say that Tony Gilroy did kind of let it slip that there's a very high possibility that Andy Serkis is coming back. Also found out that Diego Luna is an executive producer on the show and has been very heavily involved in what they're doing and the progress, which was very interesting. Him and Tony Gilroy had a great chat with the Star Wars team on StarWars.com and YouTube, and it was very interesting to learn about the writing process and how they basically developed the overall show. So stay tuned for more for Andor. It seems that'll be summer of 2024. They're currently filming it now. So once things wrap up, it's going to take them about a year to get everything done. But it seems like it should be a lot more interesting. Next up, we got our first official look at the Acolyte television series. Now, I'll be honest, when I was reading a lot of the reports and the leaks that were coming out while they were filming this show, it didn't sound very interesting to me. But seeing the trailer and seeing that a lot of those leaks were incorrect or false information or just misguided information, they got the actors right. That's about it. The roles and stuff, though, they totally got wrong, and the premise of the show, they totally got wrong. But if you can find the footage that leaked, the footage that leaked looks awesome. We are getting tons of Jedi, tons of Sith in this show, tons of great actors in the show too from other Star Wars. So the guy Jonas that plays Chewbacca currently, he's actually going to get the chance to play another Wookiee in live action, this time a Jedi. So we're going to get to see a Wookiee Jedi. We saw all kinds of footage of a fight that took place in like a cantina. Looked really, really cool. Here is a shot of the full entire cast, and Amanda Steinberg decided to go cosplay as Padme for today's celebration. So should be very interesting. A lot of the reports had her pegged as like the Jedi, but it doesn't seem that way. I'm starting to think that like she's the acolyte Sith in the show. So we still don't know where this fits timeline wise or who the actual Sith Lords are. My guess would be the disciples of Darth Bane being around the time that it is, but could be absolutely wrong. I am, though, very much looking forward to seeing more from this show. Now, next up, I am incredibly, incredibly happy and excited about this. We got our first official look at the trailer of Ahsoka. I was going to include the footage in here and just talk over the footage, but unfortunately, it got flagged, so I didn't want the video to get taken down. So I do have some stills compiled of some different things that we saw in the trailer, and we're definitely going to talk about it because I am so excited for Ahsoka. This show just looks so awesome. The thought put into this show, it seems like we are going to get a mashup of Heir to the Empire and the current Timothy Zahn novels. Now, there was a big red herring in the episode where Ahsoka actually says, I've heard rumors about Thrawn being the heir to the Empire. And like, that's there to me as a big red herring. Because if you watched my Thrawn video, you know I'm leaning more towards the canon Timothy Zahn novels and the backstory of the Grisk War. And I still think we're being set up for the swerve when it's all said and done. I still think they're going to go that way. It just makes so much sense, especially because the only footage we saw of Ezra in this trailer is right here in this hologram. They're keeping him very hush-hush. I still think that will be the final scene of this season, and most of this scene will involve the journey of Ahsoka and then the journey of Ahsoka and Sabine and Hera. So we see our first look at Natasha Bordizzo in her Sabine costume, and this just looks incredible. We got shots of her on the Thal with the longer hair. And then we see that she painted her armor differently to match the final season of Rebels. Oh man, I am hooked. She's also standing in front of the mural on Lothal. There's a nice conversation between the two of them. Things are going to be very interesting with this show. We've also heard rumors that she's going to be wielding Ezra's green lightsaber because she still is in possession of it. Ezra left it with Chopper before he left on the Thrawn ship. So really cool. We also got a lot of looks at Rosario Dawson in a lot of different stuff. There's a quick shot of her fighting an Inquisitor in this scene right here. I couldn't get a good shot of the actual Inquisitor because it was just very blurry, but it's definitely Inquisitor. It's got the double blade and it's got the Inquisitor armor. So I'm thinking this part of the trailer might actually be a little bit earlier in that timeline, like when she gets resurrected in Rebels. Another very interesting thing, we finally have confirmation that Ewan McGregor's wife is going to play Hera in live action. We also got our look at Chopper in live action, and we see Genevieve O'Reilly popping up in a hologram here as Mon Mothra in live action in the Mando timeline, which is fantastic to know that we're going to continue to see her going forward. I'm very, very excited. You could probably hear it in my voice just how great I think this is. We also get Young. This is going to be cool. It seems like he's with Ahsoka and that they're going to be palling around together. Ahsoka says something about the Jedi Order being over with, and he says to her, well, don't you think it's time we started again? So really, really cool. I'm very, very hyped to see him again. He possesses the knowledge of every lightsaber ever made in existence and every textbook and history of the Jedi Order. So he's a perfect character to bring going forward. And we get our look at my favorite little droid, Chopper. They have a credible animatronic Chopper that they showed off at Celebration that's going to be coming out. It's a smaller size, but it just looks great. It talks and does everything. It looks really, really cool. Now, probably the most interesting thing we saw in the trailer is this right here. We see Ahsoka and Ray Stevenson's character dueling in the world between worlds. Like, that's the world between worlds behind her. So this is going to be really, really interesting. Apparently his character's name is Balin, and he's a Jedi that survived Order 66, and apparently is working with the magistrate that Ahsoka went up against during Mandalorian. So him, his apprentice, and Morgan basically are on the hunt for Thrawn too. And I guess their paths are going to cross. But for the first time, we get to see a Claymore lightsaber. So a Claymore is a big broadsword from Scottish heritage. I was corrected by my friends in Ireland that they did not use Claymores. Sorry, guys. I thought you guys used them too. But this looks awesome, and it's an orange blade if you can't tell. It's got some crackling and some fizzle like Kylo Ren's, so really, really interesting. It was revealed that somehow, some way, him and Thrawn have some sort of history. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, it's Jorah Cyboth. I don't think so. I think there's a whole different story to this. We also got to look at his apprentice Shin, who's wielding a lightsaber of her own that's much thinner, almost like Needle from Game of Thrones. So these two already have me hooked, and the three of them seem to be the main antagonists for the whole entire season of the show while we're chasing threads of Thrawn. We get one little shot of Thrawn in this entire trailer, and it's from the back. And to me, it looks like he's on a Chiss ship based on the window design and the way it's all kind of set up. But I could be wrong. Like I said, Ahsoka gives the direct line that she's heard that he's heir to the Empire. I don't think they're going to go that way. I think he's amassing the people that were loyal to him during the Empire. He did have a couple people from the Thrawn books that were very loyal to him. I think he's taking them, and he's taking whatever resources he can from the Empire, but the main threat is the Grisk War. So Ahsoka looks like it's going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait. It's going to debut in August on the 20th, I believe they said, which is great because my birthday is that week. So what a great, fantastic birthday present for me. And last but not least, we have a couple brand new Star Wars Black Series figures revealed. We have the Bad Batch repaints. I saw a lot of people complaining that, oh, they're just the same figures. Well, yeah, they only changed colors. So there's a couple things different about them. But the thing is that these are all Walmart exclusives. So all of these are going up on May the 4th on Walmart. They'll be available there, except for Omega. Omega is a mainline release, and I guess she will be going up for pre-order next week on the 11th. So I'm guessing next Wednesday, that's when she'll go up for pre-order, along with whatever else maybe they reveal on tomorrow's Hasbro stream. But I like these figures. To me, they did do some upgrades. Tech has his goggles. They cut out the holes in Tech's helmet now, so putting on the helmet, he's got his goggles that actually show through. Omega looks fantastic with 2 head sculpts. A first in a long time. I can't tell you the last time we've gotten an alternate head sculpt in Black Series. You can wait these out if you want, or pick them up. I am going to be picking them up because this is the version of Bad Batch I want on my shelf. The other version, I will probably box back up, or I might even sell them. I really dig this version of Bad Batch. We also got plain white clone commandos. So here I am painting up the Scorch when I could have just waited and got a plain white clone commando to make Gregor. But either way, I think they all look good. I will probably be picking all of them up. Well, that'll do it for today. Thank you if you stuck around this long to watch the entire video. I truly appreciate it. I did have a lot of thoughts on everything that was revealed, and I am super happy with everything that was revealed. Not to mention, we still have 3 more days of celebration. So if there's anything else that comes out, any other news, any other reveals, I will definitely be doing another video to cover what else we might get, and I will definitely be doing a video covering the Hasbro stream, going over all the Star Wars reveals for tomorrow as well. So thank you again for checking out the video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, may the Force be with you.
We would be honored if you would join us.